No, it's blocking your face now.
Kidding. I'm not 90, okay?
Katie Jones, I missed you.
I'm back.
You're back.
We've had a little bit of technical difficulties.
But we figured it out.
Yeah, we actually spent the first 10 minutes talking about MacBooks and phones.
My specialty.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so great to see your face and to have you back on Is This Adulthood. I mean, this is as much your baby as it is mine. And it's kind of reminds me of the housewives. You know, when the housewives go away for a bit and maybe they want more money or something, or you know what I mean? They're kind of like, I can do this on my own. And then they bring them back on.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of, even though there's no money involved.
Oh my God.
You kind of left for a bit.
The Housewives franchise is so repetitive. I was watching The Real Housewives of Dallas this morning, and it's just like cocktail party, vacation. The aftermath of the vacation.
There's always drama on the vacation.
Vacation. I'm like, oh my God, how much money they spend to go away with people they don't like is crazy.
Well, I don't think they spend any money. It's all through the show, right?
But then what happens when they're like, I'm bringing you ladies?
Because that's part of the plot. I'm almost positive. I don't know if I should be revealing secrets of.
I don't think you're revealing any secrets that Bravo hasn't discussed before.
I was thinking about this because, on the shows, they're always like, this is my idea. Or I don't know if you've been watching Jersey Shore, but it's always like, we're going to book
it's so boring. Every week, I'm like, why am I watching this?
I know, but we keep watching it. Well, we need Snooki back. And
first of all, they're never drinking, which is fine. You don't need alcohol, but you're Jersey Shore and hitting a dead horse. Okay, Angelina and all them, who really care? They're so boring.
Dude, I really think at some point we may have to do a reality show podcast because we could talk for hours about this. I agree. I think that, okay, the thing is, I don't blame the producers or anything because they're working with what they have. So Snooki's off the show. There's rumors that that's because she doesn't want Angelina on the show. And clearly they're keeping Angelina on because it's creating this drama for this season, right? Mm-hmm. I think the other problem is now they've got their families involved. So now they have the kid there and they have the husband there and they have all this stuff, which is making them more calm. Yeah. And I feel for the reality show, come on, we want some drama. Plus they're all in this hotel. And that's been the problem is even before COVID, Jersey Shore has been in hotels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get it. But remember they were in the Las Vegas hotel and
yeah.
I don't know. I just want to see them going out again. I want them to send them to an outdoor, maybe camping or something,
Well, they did that. They went to a dude ranch that time.
Yeah, they did it.
Reality is a fine line where personally for me, if there's just too much drama in a show that it just seems archaic and just fabricated beyond, then I get turned off because I'm just okay, people can't actually live this much drama, and if they do, they should really work on living a little bit of a calmer life. But then when it's stuff like this, it's just why I am wasting my time watching this. But it's become the kind of show if I have to go into another room, I don't pause it, it can play all
yeah I know.
Boring. And no, I don't want to see Ronnie fly off the handle again and all that stuff. But no, because he's a person, but at the same time, it's nothing happens week after week. This show needs to go to bed, I think.
Oh, so have you watched Bling Empire yet?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I guess the fact that I don't know is basically what I thought about it. It was fun. I finished it. I was kind of intrigued the first couple episodes, but I don't know. It's just, will it stick? I don't know.
Really? Well, it's been renewed. It's been renewed.
Oh, well, then there you go. What did you, obviously you liked it.
Well, how is that obvious? I did love it. I did really love it. Okay, first of all, the main guy, the hot dude, the model, my opinion,
like him.
Well, he's very hot. I mean, but the thing is, there's no way that he was friends with any of them. I know they're trying to make it seem like he was friends with the one dude. No.
Yeah.
I personally don't believe that.
How did they meet? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, how Real Housewives, they add in a girl, they add in a wife, and all of a sudden she's friends with them, but it's because they're on the show together.
We all know that reality TV isn't completely reality anymore. But I think for some shows you can tell what's more a little scripted, but they are, trying to be, quite authentic. And then there's other ones where I'm just like, I don't believe any of this. Like I can just feel the cameras and the set, and
Really?
yeah, I can just feel it. And I'm like, I'm not buying any of this.
See, I think for the most part, and this is a bit biased because I would love to work on reality TV. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I will say that I believe that most reality shows are not scripted. I do think that, of course, there's producers that create situations. So maybe like on Housewives, they send them to a vacation. Okay, well, now on this vacation, not only are they drinking unlimited alcohol, but they're away from their friends and family. And it's kind of the time that the drama always goes down. So of course, by them sending them to the vacation, that's where drama is going to go down. It always happens.
I don't think they're scripted either. I think reality TV show that was scripted was The Hills, and they have since been very candid about that. Like, I mean, there were full on like oh my god, why am I not remembering her name? Kristen Cavallari. Whoa. One of my favorite designers. Can't believe I just forgot that. Kristen Cavallari like never actually dated Brody Jenner. Like they never actually had anything. And there's been multiple relationships in that show. Even Brody Jenner and Lauren Conrad, same thing. So they've come out to even admit like that was scripted. I remember the season finale of the series, Brody Jenner's like standing in front of the Hollywood thing, and then it pulls away and it goes to show like this was a set and everything. Yeah.
I never really watched The Hills.
Oh, I was huge. I went to like the Hills after show one time in Toronto with friends. And
did you see Darren Levy?
I did, yeah. And Jesse Cruikshank. But anyways, I do like reality TV. I'm right now watching Real Housewives of Dallas.
Wow, we always get off track. It's just been a while. I want to start off though first by saying, how have you been? How are you doing?
I'm good. I bought a car.
Wow.
Which was basically non-negotiable because my car died on me. So I bought that, which was really exciting. I really like it, except I'm used to winter tires in 4-wheel drive, and I don't have winter tires or 4-wheel drive, so I slide everywhere. But I'll get that sorted. And just starting up work soon. We have a movie going to camera beginning of March, so looking forward to that. And just kind of getting through winter. It's been snowing here for the past like week in Stouffville, so just kind of that stuff. Cooking a lot. And what about you? How are you?
Well, things have been a little bit more tough like recently, but getting through it, taking things day by day, just realizing that every day is a new day and some days aren't as productive as others. What's that mean? What was that?
Taking it day by day. Every day is full of possibilities.
Are you making fun of me?
Wherever there's a storm, there's a rainbow.
Literally.
The grass is greener on the other side.
Well, right now I can't see the grass because there's snow everywhere in Ottawa.
It must be so cold in Ottawa.
It's actually not that cold right now. This week it's mild. It's around the 0 mark, but there's like tons of snow. But I'm going to go for a walk today. I didn't go for a walk yesterday and I just didn't feel as productive, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
good for you.
You look really pretty, by the way.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. You always look good.
Aw.
Good. All right. Give me a second here.
A piece of Tostito went in your eye?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. This is what happens when I eat and talk. You think I'm a pro by now.
Okay, well, let's get to it while Katie figures out what's in her eye.
So, getting into today, you discussed like 3 things you want to talk about. One is like wedding rules, etiquettes, like things that you must have at your wedding. Free Britney movement, which is very timely. And the downfall, I guess, of dating apps, which Ryan, you are much more versed in than me.
Unfortunately.
So you'll have to take the reins when we get to that one. But let's start off with the Free Britney movement because that's so prevalent right now. I finally understand the Free Britney movement. Remember months ago, or even maybe longer than months ago, I just her Instagram weirds me out. And I was just like, because I didn't really understand all of it. And not that I couldn't grasp the concept of like she's been, micromanaged and told what to do, what to say, how to breathe since she was like a little kid, and that's probably kind of screwed her up in ways as into her adult years. I understood all that, but then I'd go on her Instagram and she'd have like raccoon black eyes and she'd be like spinning around in circles, and I'm like, what's going on here? This is so weird. But now, even before I watched the documentary, I am understanding the whole Free Britney movement. I read those comments. They're like, we see you, Britney. Like, wear green if you, and so that's pretty interesting. But you know more about it. So why don't you kind of explain whatever I've kind of missed and you go from there?
Well, I'm proud of you, first of all, and I'm glad that you watched a documentary. I do think the documentary that we're talking about is called Framing Britney Spears, and it's a New York Times and Hulu documentary and FX, and they came together and they produced this really cool documentary that originally was actually focused on, you'll find this interesting, Katie, it was focused on Britney's rise to fame and the paparazzi and the media scrutiny that followed. So that's how they started the doc. And then as the Free Britney movement started gaining momentum, they ended up focusing also on that. Now, the Free Britney movement started with a podcast. A lot of fans were speculating about Free Britney like years ago when the conservatorship first started, which, if some of you aren't aware, basically happened right after Britney had some struggles that were public. And Britney,
was that when like she took the umbrella to the paparazzi's car and everything?
It was actually a little bit after that. It was that was kind of the start where she was asked to go into rehab, supposedly or allegedly, by her manager and all of that. But it happened a little bit later when she was dealing with custody issues with her sons, her two sons. And so, at that time, a lot of media, a lot of people were speculating about her mental health and, calling her crazy and saying to take the kids away and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And at the time, people were kind of like, this is, something bad may happen to Britney. A lot of people were concerned. And so Britney's dad came in and Jamie Spears. And what happened was, when there was a night when supposedly she wasn't going to give back one of the kids to Kevin Federline. And there's some rumors, there's allegations that this whole thing was set up to get Britney under a 5150, which is like a mental hold. Oh, besides that, that night is when she was hospitalized under a 5150. And shortly thereafter, and that means in California that for, I think, 48 hours, you're basically stuck inside a hospital for mental evaluation. Yeah. So after that, Britney's dad filed to be a temporary conservator. I believe it was temporary at the time. There are rumors that he listed, or the legal team listed, dementia. I don't know whether it's been proven, but there's a lot of people that are like, because conservatorships are usually for people that are older. So
they're not able to be responsible for their assets, for their finances, for their personal decisions. Yeah. Not a very capable working young woman that clearly needs help, not total release of control.
Exactly. See, you got this. I'm so proud of you. She was around like 27, I think, or 28 at the time. And so at 27, 28, I haven't heard of many people with dementia. Maybe medical experts have, but I don't think it's very common at all. No. So some people say that was a way to get it approved almost immediately, because when it's seniors and they may have dementia or struggling with that, the idea is that they can't control their finances. Maybe they can't drive. Maybe they can't do other things. And, they could be a risk to themselves and others. So she was placed under this conservatorship. And at the time, she tried to seek legal counsel. And she reached out to this lawyer who is in that documentary, Adam Streisand, who basically was told, Britney doesn't have the capacity to hire legal counsel. You can't be her legal counsel. And her biggest concern supposedly was she did not want her dad handling her life and her finances under this conservatorship. Supposedly, according to that lawyer, she didn't mind being under conservatorship, whether that's true or not. Maybe she just wanted to do it to get her kids back. I'm not sure, but she did not want her dad.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to rudely interrupt you and say, is that I remember I only watched the documentary once, which I can maybe you only watched it once, but I can see you rewinding it, like maybe going back to it. But I do remember there was a part in it where that I guess maybe it was that lawyer touched on that she is kind of sound mind enough to know, okay, I'll go under a conservatorship. I just don't want it to be my father. And so it was that kind of argument. Whereas, like, if she wasn't of sound mind, then she would maybe not be able to recognize at all that she needed maybe that kind of support. But she was able to. She was just definitive about who she didn't want it to be, which we obviously don't know how that legal stuff works, but why they wouldn't be able to respect that and find somebody else for her. There's a lot of professional people out there that probably could have done a great job. And if that was her only wish, I mean, I understand that your parents have your best interest, but that's not always true.
Yeah. And I mean, some of Jamie's motives in the documentary are kind of questioned. I don't know if you remember that marketing executive from Jive from back in the day when Britney was blowing up. And she said, the one thing I remember about Jamie, or the one time I met him or something like that, he said, my daughter's going to be so famous, she's going to buy me a boat.
Yeah.
And then she goes,
that was kind of in the beginning, right?
Yeah. And she literally turns to the camera or whatever. And she goes, that's all I'll say about Jamie, or something like that. And it's just like, oh, wow.
And I mean, there's that thing, there's three sides to every story, yours, mine, and the truth. But I think there's a lot to be said. Now, one qualm I have about this documentary, and again, I mean, I'm a believer in, if you can't pack everything in, that it's like that is of headline news, then make it a couple parts or make it a series or whatever. There were things in this documentary that weren't addressed, but maybe that's just like me wanting to know everything because we want all the answers, which, I mean, she's still alive. This conservatorship is still going on. Like, it's not like we are looking at the past of someone that this is all like a closed book, but why they didn't touch on her sister Jamie and like where like she stands more, or her one son that went on to like Instagram live or whatever a while ago and bashed like his mom. Like
not the mom so much. He didn't bash his mom so much. He bashed Jamie Spears.
Oh,
he said he called him the D word.
Oh, okay. See, maybe I need to go back and see that. But certain things where it was like, it was great that they tapped into her childhood and you got to see some footage of that. That's really cool, especially for us. We grew up with her, so it's very nostalgic. And then obviously talking about the paparazzi, because like you just said, that was kind of the initial angle of the documentary, was the scrutiny of the media. And that was obviously before social media and stuff. So we relied on those like $4 magazines when your mom was like getting the groceries, and you like quickly go through like US Weekly, and like sometimes you'd slip it on and like your mom would buy it, and like not Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston was all over the cover. And like those were the days of like, you know, the old school media coverage. But so it was nice that they covered that, but there was just so many other things. Like, I don't think they tapped into enough of all of the comments that people leave, like wear the green and like, like, you know, because there's been, that's all there is on her Instagram. And like, why didn't they talk about how like it's just Sam or whatever that records her, and that she'll do things like, most of you are asking what my favorite things to do in the holidays are. And then all the comments are like, nobody is asking this.
Everyone's like, just asking, are you okay?
Yeah, no, one of us has asked you what's your favorite rom-com of winter.
So who's telling her that? Who's telling her that that's what everyone's asking?
And that's what I wish they tapped into more. And if it's the initial documentary started off as something and it became something else through a Free Britney, maybe you hold off, or maybe you release this documentary in part so that people don't, you know, get kind of over it and they move on. But like, hello, there's still so many unanswered questions. And now I'm like in the Free Britney movement and I just want to know more.
Dude, well, there's so much to unpack there, because supposedly there's also a Netflix documentary in the works, and there may be an HBO Max documentary in the works. So some people suggest that the New York Times, FX, Hulu one wanting to be the first on the scene.
Oh,
and
so they were like, let's just release this.
Yeah, so that's the rumor. And also the I think it was the director of the documentary, someone involved, they're saying that there could be another like a second series or more to this, like kind of like a
Yeah.
sequel, because fans said the same thing, that there was a lot that maybe wasn't covered because Jamie Spears isn't the only one involved with this conservatorship. And that's kind of what they focused on.
And I want to hear more from the mom's angle, because it's kind of like out there in public knowledge that the mom isn't exactly like team Jamie Spears. I mean, they're not even together, right? But so yeah, I mean, obviously when I did finish it, I was like, there's got to be some type of follow-up, because you would be sitting on massive thing, right? Like Britney Spears is a pop icon and she's still alive and this is still going on. So you don't sleep on current news. And also it's not like, you'll kind of understand the comparison that I'm going to do here, but you know how we talk about like reality TV and stuff? Someone like my mom who does not like reality TV, we can't discuss that because it's just so not in her world. But whether you're a Britney Spears fan or a fan of her music, or you grew up with her, or whatever your angle is, everybody can talk about what's going on. You know, you're talking about mental health. You're
human
talking
rights
about
issue,
human rights issues, freedom of speech. I mean, says that she doesn't even have access to any of her accounts. There's all those rumors of she being like drugged and locked in her home. I don't know. So you can really pull a chair up with a lot of different types of people and have a conversation about this.
I like that. Pull a chair up. I think there's going to be more to this. I think that there may be a second part. We're going to have to see. There's a lot still on the table. And I think the main thing that people need to know, that under this conservatorship, Britney is as if she's a child. So, you know, when you're a kid and you have to get your parents to sign your permission slips to go on a field trip, things like that.
Or you forge them, but I know what you mean.
Is that what you did?
Of course I forged some. You got a D on that math test. I'll figure out how to sign Barb
Katie Jones.
Oh my God, who didn't?
I don't know if I ever did that.
You definitely didn't.
I didn't?
No, you definitely didn't.
So basically, you know how that works. So under the conservatorship, Britney has no legal adult rights. Basically, she can't vote. And she can't have access to her money. She gets an allowance, I think, weekly. And then other rules can be put in place regarding her life and her health and different things like that. Like supposedly one of the rules is that she isn't supposed to be driving on her own. We've seen some shots of her driving on her own, especially after those rumors came out. But before that, you never really saw her driving on her own. So imagine being like almost a 40-year-old person and being in this for 13 years and having your parents, can you imagine that? Having your parents control your life and your personal decisions. Also, she can't get married without her father signing off on it. And that's another thing with her boyfriend, Sam. Her boyfriend, Sam, came out and called Jamie a D word. You saw that, right?
I saw that,
I personally think that's because I think Sam wants to get married to Britney. I think Britney wants to get married to Sam, and they probably want to have kids. Britney's been very open about wanting to have more kids, but is Jamie signing off on that? Maybe not.
I want to know more. I want to know so much more. I want to know what Kevin Federline thinks. I want to know what Jamie Spears really does think, her sister. I mean, she's made a couple public statements saying, you know, there's a lot more that goes on behind closed doors. Mental health isn't something to joke about. So obviously tapping into the fact that like my sister has some things going on and you don't think you know what you know. But I mean, there's just, like you said, so much more to unpack here. So I look forward to that next documentary and all of that. And hopefully she gets help, because I am not picking fun at mental health. Of course I'm not, but her Instagram is so alarming. It's hard to watch sometimes, just like the black in her eyes, and like it looks like sometimes she's just soulless. And I hope we get more answers, and like everybody says, I hope that she can tell her story one day.
I hope so too. So thanks for touching on that. There's so much more that we could talk about, but we're going to move on now. Definitely check that out if you can. I mean, technically right now it's not in Canada for any of our Canadian listeners, so who knows how Katie and I watched it, but we did. And hopefully
the producers personally emailed us so we could comment on it.
There you go. I don't know about that, but so we're going to move on to the next topic, which is wedding rules. And I think this may be more applicable to Katie than it is to me right now, since I
knew you were going to say
that. Well, okay. The reason why I say that is because I have no significant other. So you have
Yeah.
a significant other. And I know that may be a while off. You guys are still progressing in your relationship and all that. So I'm not saying that that's around the corner, even though I
No, I
always
know,
like
I
to say
know.
that. But I would
I
love for you to talk about what your wedding rules would be, because some people are very specific.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I wrote down. I was like, no drama? Question mark.
Ooh.
Plan accommodations? Question mark. And take the weekend off. LOL, because my boyfriend would not be able to take our own wedding weekend off. So that was kind of a funny one. But you know what? I was thinking about this, and I think that if I was someone that was going to have a more traditional wedding at a church, maybe if I had a really big family, or I aspired to have a really big wedding, I'd have more rules in place. But I want to get married on, we joke about one of our mutual friends' property that's really beautiful. And I was like, oh, this is where we're getting married. And I mean, I'll probably be barefoot, and I'll probably have a really long, flowy dress. I'm just not conventional. So with that said, I feel like there aren't a lot of conventional rules. If I was getting married in a church, please don't be late. Please don't walk through the church doors when, the ceremony has started, but that's not, I'm going to be in the backyard. So, I mean, if you're late, so I don't know. No drama. I think that would be really nice. Let's not have any drunk aunts fighting, or bridesmaids that are fighting over the one single guy in the groom's party or whatever. I'm just joking, but
Does that
yeah.
happen?
So I don't really. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Does it? Maybe. But I'd love to get married on a weekend thing. I think I've spoke about previously in a podcast, the wedding I went to that kind of took place over a weekend. I thought that was awesome. So if you could take the weekend off, or who knows, maybe you'll even go destination. I don't know. So I'm not really good to talk on this because I just don't really have a lot of rules. I mean, don't get drunk and fall down the stairs and break your neck and end the party. That would be nice. If you have serious food allergies, let us know so you don't get sick on the salmon.
So no drama. No drama.
No drama. Just show up and look good and have fun.
I like that.
What about you? What would you say?
There was a TikTok that I sent you from the username was Eyes Out for Selena. And basically he's actually really funny on TikTok, and he had listed out his wedding rules. And one of the ones that stood out for me was no announcements. Don't make a big announcement at my wedding. I don't mind a speech, but don't be announcing that you're pregnant, or that you're engaged, or that you got a promotion. This day is about me. Okay. You know what I mean? So don't take away that spotlight from me. That's the biggest thing. I know you're not going to like this, but I would maybe have a drink maximum.
We've spoken about this.
I don't want people getting too drunk at my wedding, but I also want them to have a fun time and get a buzz.
About this, back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah, one of our first couple episodes, and you were like, a 1 or 2 drink maximum.
I think it's gone up a bit.
I'll be sending my congrats in the mail. Imagine. I'll have a Pinot. Sorry, you've exceeded your 2 drink limit.
How about this? Katie Jones is allowed to have unlimited drinks, but other people. Oh, you like that?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do get it. You don't want a bunch of sloppy people that don't remember the night. But I also think how people party on your wedding day is maybe kind of an unspoken rule. I don't want shots right after I say I do, so that by the time dinner comes around, people are blackout. But party, drink, have a good time, eat, have fun. And then toward the end of the night, you probably are going to be a little sideways, but let's not start right off the bat, blackout, because that's no fun. Nobody remembers anything. But if by the end of the night, you're needing someone to carry you into an Uber, I totally get it.
You know what? I like that. I like the idea of having it timed out. And also, I just thought about this as you were discussing that is, you know what? I just got to trust my friends. The people that are going to be there are going to be close friends and family. So I don't think I would have a drink limit, actually. I would just trust the people. Wow,
way to just jump ship that.
Yeah, quickly. I jumped ship as I was thinking about it. And the thing that I liked that you mentioned, which is time it out. So rather than people taking shots before you say I do or whatever, I would have it timed out so that the wedding's done, maybe the first dance is done, whatever kind of speeches, maybe wine at the table from like the servers give it to you. And then the open bar opens up after. When the dance floor opens, that's when the open bar opens.
And I mean, also, like, a lot of the time, like, how much you drink has kind of correlation with the people you hang out with. Not always, like, I drink more than you, but I'm also going to behave how you would want me to behave at your wedding. You know what I mean? Like, to an extent. But I just, like, anytime, like, if I'm at a bar, I mean, before COVID, whatever that even feels like, if, let's say, Jeff and I, for example, want to go out on a Friday night and watch a Leaf game, I'm not going to have a tequila shot 5 minutes into the first period because I'm not going to make it to the third period, and I'm here to watch the game.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean by the time the game's over and it's 12 o'clock at night and we've been there for all night that I'm not going to be like, woohoo! But I want to be at that point at the end, not at the beginning. So it's all just kind of like, how do you want your night to go? And obviously your most important, like, friends and family should be present for you. And hopefully you're present for yourself at the same time. And then let, like, Uncle Jerry stumble home.
There's always an Uncle Jerry. I don't have an Uncle Jerry either, but there's always one.
He would just show up.
Another rule on there that I found interesting was about how, like, no photos, like, you can take like Snapchats or videos on your Insta story that kind of disappear after a while. Okay, I kind of like this to an extent. I don't want to restrict people. You can't take photos, right? Like, I don't mind people taking photos for the memories and all that, but they can do that. But I think the main thing is that I will send out, maybe it's a virtual wedding photo album or something from our professional photographers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The ones that are approved, the ones that are good, the ones that get my right angle.
Yeah.
They can take their photos and videos, like, because they're going to want to post on Facebook and all that. So I'm not going to restrict them from doing it, but I think the main focus is I would like people to take in the moment and trust that you're going to get the photos and maybe some kind of video highlight reel or something afterwards that's professional. Take in the moment. Don't spend all your time trying to put the right caption on your Insta story. Maybe you can do one during the dance or something cute, but the rest of it, during the first dance, of it, just enjoy.
I totally agree with you. Excuse me. You know me, I'm not huge on social media anyways. Like, I like it, but it's not, you know me anyways. So it would be really weird to, like, have to enforce a rule, because that would feel strange. But at the same time, I do understand what you're saying, because it's like, you will have a professional photographer there. You will get your photos. And I'm not saying you have to put your phone on, airplane mode and put it in your purse and not see it till the next morning. But, like, walking down the aisle, saying your vows, whether that looks like you're on a beach in Dominican or you're at, like, a cathedral, please don't be, like, recording that. Like, those are precious moments to take in. And then, I don't care about getting, like, the wrong angle and stuff. Like, obviously you don't want to see, like, but I mean, obviously the next morning you wouldn't want to see a slew of photos where you're, like, not looking good.
Yeah.
But I also would just hate to be, like, celebrating, and every time you look around, it's selfies and this and that. Like, people take their phones out while they're having a good time. That's just the way of the world now. But I really hope that, like, your cell phone does leave your hand. You know what I mean? Like, because there's more than just, like, taking photos all night. But people are going to do what they're going to want to do. And if they're addicted to Snapchatting, it doesn't matter if you, like, threaten them with throwing them out. Like, they're going to do what they want to do. So hopefully people just know your vibe, and go with that.
Know your vibe. And hopefully you also don't lose your phone. Right, Katie Jones?
I don't ever lose my phone.
You don't have a story from this past weekend?
I lost it snowmobiling because I'm a badass. What do you want from me?
But this isn't the first time you've lost your phone or something's happened.
No, I have never owned a phone for longer than 2 years. I don't even know if I've owned a phone for 2 years. Maybe like a year and a half.
Well, I mean, it's just funny because all of a sudden I get this email from Katie Jones and it's like, oh, I can't do the podcast today because I lost my phone snowmobiling. I'm just like, yep, that's on brand. That's pretty on brand. But thank you for letting me know. All right. So the final topic for today is how I think that the dating apps have kind of gone and they've gone down. The
Doo-doo.
quality is not so much
Okay,
there
so
anymore.
you're gonna have to take this one away, obviously, because I'm not on them. But why? Like when you say they're more for money, if someone were to say to me, dating apps have gone down the tube, I would immediately just think, yeah, because COVID. Like you
Yeah.
can't go anywhere. And you know me, like before Jeff, and obviously that was before COVID, someone would like send a message and I'm like, oh, can't even bother. And I delete the app. And that was when there was things to do. Now I can't imagine like having to keep up conversation, make yourself seem interesting, blah, 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 to then just like go on a walk. And I'd love to walk, but that would get really old really quickly. So to me, that's why I think Tinder and Bumble and all of them have probably gone down because, yeah, we all like partnership and maybe we're bored or lonely. But I mean, when there's nowhere to go, there's no like nothing to do. And then you add winter, it's like, no.
Well, it's true. No, it's a good point. And so I do think COVID is part of it. Like now it's all about doing a video chat even first to try to feel the vibes. Interesting story. I did a video chat with this guy and he was like, "Oh, well, I'm shirtless right now." And I'm like, "Oh, doesn't matter, whatever." Right. Cause I was just like, maybe he'll have a selfie and it will be like just his chest or something, like not a big deal. Literally, he opens the video chat. Why do you always love these stories?
The people that you talk to, like, so good. Okay, go on.
So he's literally sitting on the couch shirtless, like not a complimentary, not a good angle. He's sitting there like this, like slouch, kind of like this, with his shirt off. And he goes, "Here's me with my shirt off." Like, I'm sorry.
What did you do?
I don't know. I was like feeling so weird. I'm like, now I'm talking to him. And it's not like I thought maybe it'd be like this and be like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" Da, da, da. It literally was like this angle, like slouched with his shirt off. And just like, I wasn't feeling it.
It feels like a little invasive. Like,
it
I don't know.
does.
Like, it's a bit like, whoa. I mean, you did tell me you're shirtless. So it's not like I assumed you had a shirt on, but it's also kind of just like, I don't even know you. And you're putting it out there that like, basically I have to accept the fact you're not wearing clothes right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to be able to talk to you. Like, it's just kind of like, would it have been that hard to just throw a top on? And then like, if things went well, maybe go shirtless, like the second chat or something. Like, why do you have to not have your shirt on? Like, it's not summer and your AC in your apartment is broken. Like,
exactly.
Go put a shirt on.
Yeah. And I think it was like a 5-minute chat. I like end it pretty quick. I'm like, "Well, thank you. Thanks for chatting with me. I'm glad we could chat. Like, yeah, I appreciate it."
I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah, and we didn't. I think I unmatched.
So are you on them right now?
Yeah, I'm on some of them. So the thing is that like what I meant by like, it seems like it's all about the money. Like, this is just my personal opinion, is because now on Tinder, and I've downloaded Tinder Premium or Gold or whatever, like I've got it before for a month, and I've got Bumble as well for whatever their premium version is. But it seems like if you don't get it, it's like, "Oh, well, now you're out of matches," or, "Oh, we're hiding all of your matches behind this." Like, that's what they do now. It's behind this like blurred wall and you can't see who your matches are, but you're not getting any matches. So it's like, what do I have to pay to play? Kind of thing.
Forcing you to pay for it.
Because now I'm not getting any matches. I'm running out of matches. So now I have to go like a full day with like no matches. And like,
maybe that's
I don't know.
A you problem.
It could be just a me problem. Or maybe they know that I bought it before and they're trying to get me to buy it again. Could totally be that. But I remember back in the day when there were tons of quality people, because also I feel like the quality of people, in my opinion, has gone down a little bit. I remember. And I think that's partly COVID. I think people boot up. And I think people also have found pandemic relationships. Yeah. And they just found it. And now they're with that person. They're not on the app. So I think that's part of it too.
I mean, I've never started an app, obviously, so I don't really know how it works, but it must be hard in the sense of like launching a brand new app, especially a brand new concept. Like when Tinder and stuff came out, yeah, there'd been like Match.com and stuff before, but that was always kind of geared to an older demographic and where you really filled out like top to bottom. I mean, I never did them, but I know about them. And then Tinder was the first kind of thing that it's like, look, you download, you put a picture of yourself, you put a little bio, and you're going to have this plethora of people you can talk to. And they kind of broke the mold there. And so of course you kind of make it free in the beginning because you don't know how the audiences are going to
True.
react. But then you do have to start making money. And obviously you
Yeah.
can have ads and everything, just like Tinder's making money. But then how do you then go, okay, you've used the service for free for how long? But now you got to start paying. Well, that pisses people off. But what, are you going to be free forever? But then
Good
again,
point.
Facebook and Instagram are still free. So I don't know the math behind that, the legality behind that. But do I blame a very successful company charging you?
It's
Yes and no. But how much are they charging you? But then to go, well, if you don't get premium, we're going to withhold everything. Well, that's kind of going against your original mandate. So I don't know. It's tough.
it's a good point, and it makes you think, if all these people get matched with their perfect match, they delete the app. And with less people on the app, what does that mean? Right. So then it makes you wonder, like, do they really want people to match up? I guess you could say then there's always going to be new people that become single that go on. So exactly. We don't know the behind the scenes stuff, but I don't know. I feel like the quality, at least on my end, has been lacking a little bit. So maybe it's just a me problem. Maybe it's because of the pandemic, but here's hoping. In a previous podcast episode, I listed out my perfect partner. Hopefully he is on his way. He is on his way. We'll put it
He
out
is
there
on
like
his
that.
way. You just gotta change your mentality, and he's a coming.
There we go. Well, Katie, it was so nice as always chatting with you and having you back. And I know we're going to try to do even more episodes together and cover even more topics. There's always so much for us to cover, but I love this. I love covering the multiple topics in one. And of course, our reality show chats are always great.
I know, love it. Well, I love you. It was so nice to see you. And we have to check into the Free Britney movement in the next couple months and see where that is at, because this is it's an evolving thing. I feel like by making this documentary, they've now kind of broken the door where it's not just
Yes.
speculation. There are people that are matching their words to their face, going on record, making statements. So, we've kind of like opened the floodgates, and
Yeah.
you're like the biggest Britney lover and supporter
Mhm.
I know. So I love you. We will chat soon. And thank you for having me on Is This Adulthood? And have fun with Taylor next week.
Oh, does that mean that you're not coming back on? Is that it for a little bit?
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to see everything with work. But no, I definitely loved this, and I love you.
She has to check her schedule, guys. She basically just told me, get your people to call my people, because she has people. I don't have people, so it's just me calling her people. So
You have people.
all right. So if you want to
you.
follow Is This Adulthood on Instagram, it's at Is This Adulthood on Instagram and at ITA_podcast on Twitter. And my Instagram is at Ryan Durgy, RYANDURGY. Twitter's the same.
Instagram KTEE Jones and Twitter 01 Katie Jones.
We've got to see some more Twitter updates, Katie.
I know, I haven't been going crazy on the tweets lately.
I miss it.
I know, me too, actually. But then I'm also like, it's a good thing.
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.